Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Kevin Sumlin. Cats are back home on Saturday night, 8 o'clock. They'll take on the Southern Utah Thunderbirds at the stadium. We hope to see everybody out there. Should be a great night of football. Coach, you made a point right after the game down in Houston that your team needs to get off to a quicker start. I mean, how do you go about hopefully preparing the guys for that this Saturday?
You know, there's a lot of things you can do in practice to really train for that. I think we addressed the second half, the third quarter issue, but you know we've got to have a faster start, and you know there's ways that we go about practice, things that we need to do, and that will be addressed this week.
Leif Frick is coming back after sitting out the first two games. Valuable offensive lineman for you. Talk about the addition of his depth and what it can mean, not just having him back, but allowing some of the other guys maybe to get off the field for a couple plays.
Yeah, we had, you know, 4 of those guys played 100 snaps or more last Saturday. So, you know, it's not just him being back in the rotation. He's our most experienced in offensive lineman we have. So that allows, you know, Donovan Leif, who's been starting for the last 2 weeks at left tackle, maybe the hardest job there is on the football field as a true freshman, to move over to right tackle and then give us some depth and be able to move some guys around.
Bam Smith, young guy back in his hometown, had a nice game down at Houston. So now you include him along with JJ and Gary. Are those guys interchangeable in the backfield?
I think so. I think, you know, the hard part for a freshman is the pass protection piece. You know, and guys are coming from everywhere. We know what he can do when we hand it to him. People saw that. We saw that in high school. So it's going to give him an opportunity to grow. I think that what we have established there is that we're 3 deep at running back at least, and 3 guys that we feel comfortable with.
Do you look back at the first couple of bowl games and say, boy, if we could have gotten the opposing team off the field on third down, maybe in 4 or 5 cases, how close is that to changing a game?
It changed it a lot. You know, in the first half against BYU, we did that, and that's why the game was where it was. It's a combination of things, though, too. So, you know, we've got to be able to, with the number of plays that we've run, we've got to have more explosive plays, and we got to get off the field on third down. That's football. And then, you know, field position matters. I thought that. You know, when we did punt, we were very effective to knock those balls down inside the 15-yard line and give them long fields. But, you know, the third down on offense and third down on defense is where the game's won.
When you say explosive plays, what would the fans, when they're in the stands on Saturday night, what would they be looking for? What would you describe as an explosive play? Anything
that scores or anything that's 30 yards or more,
okay,
and chunks of yardage. And so, you know, we haven't been able to do that. You know, we've been able to move the football. We've been able to run plays. We've been able to go for 500 and some yards. But, you know, that doesn't equate to the amount of points that we need.
Southern Utah comes to town on Saturday night. The team went 9-3 last year, made it into the playoffs in the FCS. They've got some big-time offensive players coming back. What should we look for?
Well, I think, you know, this is a well-coached team. I think that, you know, anytime you're in the playoffs, they won their league last year. This team is going to be confident. They've been on the field with Oregon State. They'll play anybody. And so, you know, this is a program that is a top-tier FCS team. And so, you know, we've got to be prepared and to play and take one more step from last week. I think that it's about improvement. It's about correcting mistakes, but certainly this team is not to be taken lightly.
Wildcats Thunderbirds, Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff at Arizona Stadium. And more Wildcat Weekly right after this.
Life is what you make it, full of endless possibilities and opportunities at every corner. In our fast-paced world, Hughes helps you with what matters most, delivering dreams, adding value to your life. Where you bank matters for you, your family, and your future. We are local, rooted in the community you call home. Join us on the journey of life. Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked the #1 credit union in Arizona by Forbes.
Wildcat Football Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked by Forbes as the #1 credit union in Arizona. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/bestcreditunion.
Senior wide receiver Shawn Poindexter will be back in action Saturday night. Wildcats against Southern Utah at the stadium. 2 games down in the season. Shawn, before we get to this season, there was some question, would you be able to be back for one more year? So how satisfying is it to have that last season in a Wildcat uniform?
It's very satisfying. The fact that a brand new coaching staff came in and they trusted me and they're giving me the ball. So it's huge for me to grow as a player and as a person.
Talk about the evolution of the offense. Arizona's run the ball extremely well the last few years. Coach Sumlin wanted to add more of the passing attack to the game. How has that balanced out so far?
Well, as everyone can see, we're throwing the ball a lot more this year. Coach Sumlin and his staff came in here to develop players, and Khalil's established himself as a runner. So to show the world that he can pass too is something that they're really working on. So.
You had 7 catches, 134 yards last week at Houston. Do you feel now as a senior you have some added responsibility to be kind of the leader of the wide receivers?
Yes, sir. There's a lot of young guys that are still trying to figure out this game that have a lot of potential. So I feel a lot of pressure to show them what it takes to go out there on the field and have courage and to play ball and to never quit. So I feel a lot of pressure from that and a lot of pressure with the fact that I would love to play at the next level. So I have to put something on film.
How have those young guys as a whole, I won't ask you to go through them name by name, but how have the young guys developed here early on?
A lot of the guys, they show up to practice every day and they work really, really hard. Some of the guys have a tremendous amount of potential. Some of the guys have a tremendous amount of work ethic. So everybody's out here working, and some of the younger guys are still trying to figure it out. So if they can put 2 and 2 together, the potential and their work ethic, they can surprise this city for sure. Yeah.
When you're learning a new system, now you're an older guy, so maybe it comes a little easier to you, but for some of the sophomores and juniors in terms of new staff learning a new system, what is that learning curve like?
It's that's a tough question because when this coaching staff came in and then the offense and how they run it with the signals and everything, they simplify it and they make it much easier than you would expect. So learning the offense wasn't difficult. It's trusting in it more than anything. So I think that's what most of the younger guys have to focus on.
Is Shawn Poindexter, Wildcats, Southern Utah, Saturday night, 8 o'clock at the stadium.
Thank you for watching Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.